Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com in the second week of August 2026. I'm your host, Linnea Crowther. I'm the news editor at Legacy.com, where you can read full obituaries for most of the people featured in this video and leave your own condolences on their Legacy page. Actress Joan Blackman died March 16, 2026, at a hospital in Santa Rosa, California, at the age of 87. Her death was announced this week. She starred opposite Elvis Presley in Blue Hawaii and Kid Galahad, delighting fans with her on-screen chemistry with the superstar. Blackman is also being remembered for her performances in such movies as Visit to a Small Planet and The Great Imposter. Actor and politician Ben Jones died August 9, 2026, at his home in Luray, Virginia. He died of a heart attack at the age of 84. He starred in The Dukes of Hazzard, playing mechanic Cooter Davenport in the popular TV show. In later years, he founded a Dukes of Hazzard museum and produced Dukes reunion events. Jones is also being remembered for serving as a Democratic U.S. representative from Georgia in the 1980s and 90s. Boxer Prichard Colón died August 13, 2026, at the age of 33. He was a rising star of the boxing world, undefeated before a 2015 fight when he was struck in the back of his head in an illegal move. He was in a coma for 7 months and suffered severe brain damage, ending his career. Colón is being remembered as a champion whose career and life were tragically cut short. Gossip columnist Flo Anthony died August 6, 2026, at the age of 74. Her widely read gossip columns in magazines like The National Examiner led to many TV appearances on True Hollywood Story, The Ricki Lake Show, Unsung, and more. Anthony is also being remembered for her radio show, Gossip to Go with Flo, and for writing novels, including Keeping Secrets, Telling Lies. Musician Gary Dwyer died August 9, 2026, of leukemia at the age of 66. He was the drummer for the Teardrop Explodes, the Liverpool post-punk band known for their 1981 hit Reward. Dwyer is also being remembered as the drummer for the new wave group The Color Field. Hall of Fame basketball player and coach Don Nelson died August 9, 2026, at an assisted living facility in Frisco, Texas. He died at the age of 86 after a recent stroke. He had the second most regular season wins of any coach in NBA history from his long career coaching the Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks, and Dallas Mavericks. Nelson is also being remembered for his playing career, especially with the Boston Celtics in the 1960s and 70s. He helped the team to 5 NBA championships, and his number 19 jersey was retired. Actress Tedde Moore died August 5, 2026, in Huntsville, Ontario, at the age of 79. She was best known for her role in the classic holiday film A Christmas Story, playing Ralphie's teacher, Miss Shields. Moore is also being remembered for reprising her role in the sequel to the beloved movie, My Summer Story. Music producer William Orbit died July 23, 2026, at his home in London at the age of 69. A cause of death was not announced. He won a Grammy Award for producing Madonna's 1998 album Ray of Light. His vision was a strong influence on the album's sound, and he played guitar on it as well. Orbit is also being remembered for his production work with Blur, Prince, Pink, and many other artists, as well as for recording his own music. Social media influencer Sydney Towle died August 5, 2026, at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. She died of complications of metastatic bile duct cancer at the age of 26. She shared her life with the rare cancer with more than 1 million followers on TikTok, chronicling both her treatments and her drive to live a rich life even as she fought cancer. Towle is being remembered as a bright light who challenged people's assumptions of what life with cancer looks like. Singer and actress Abbe Lane died April 25, 2026 in Los Angeles. She died of natural causes at the age of 93. Her death was announced this week. In the 1950s and 60s, she sang and danced in nightclubs and on TV shows like The Ed Sullivan Show and The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Lane is also being remembered for her work in Italian film and TV, as well as for appearances in U.S. movies and TV shows like Oh Captain, The Brady Bunch, and Heart to Heart. Actor Reggie Bannister died August 9, 2026 at his home in Crestline, California. He died at the age of 80 after fighting Lewy body dementia and Parkinson's disease. He was best known for starring in the Phantasm series of horror films, playing the gun-wielding ice cream man-turned-action hero Reggie. He is being remembered as a horror movie icon who loved meeting fans at conventions and other events. Bannister was a U.S. Army veteran of the Vietnam War. Actress Cheryl Hall died recently at the age of 76. She starred on British TV in Citizen Smith and had a recurring role in The Bill. Hall is also being remembered for her performance in the Carnival of Monsters serial of Doctor Who. Actor Jon Cypher died August 3, 2026 at his home in Central Point, Oregon at the age of 94. He had starring TV roles in Hill Street Blues playing Chief Fletcher Daniels and in Major Dad as General Marcus C. Craig. Cypher is also being remembered for his performance as Man-at-Arms in the 1987 feature film adaptation of Masters of the Universe. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 5 years ago this week, singer Don Everly died at the age of 84. He and his brother, Phil, were the Everly Brothers, who had early rock and roll hits like Wake Up Little Susie and Bye Bye Love. 8 years ago this week, singer Aretha Franklin died at the age of 76. She was the renowned Queen of Soul, whose beloved hits included Respect, Think, and You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. 49 years ago this week, singer and actor Elvis Presley died at the age of 42. He was the king of rock and roll, who revolutionized popular music with his dance moves and with classic songs like Heartbreak Hotel and Hound Dog. Basketball player Wilt Chamberlain was born 90 years ago this week. He died in October 1999 at the age of 63. He was an all-time NBA great who won championships with the San Francisco Warriors and Los Angeles Lakers and made 13 All-Star appearances. Actor and filmmaker Robert Redford was born 90 years ago this week. He died in September 2025 at the age of 89. He starred in classic films like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting, founded the Sundance Film Festival, and won an Academy Award as the director of Ordinary People. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Rhode Island have been lowered to honor the memory of former state senator Stephen D. Elvis. Flags in South Dakota have been lowered to honor the memory of former state legislator Michael Saba and former state treasurer Dave Volk. Flags in Illinois have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Army Corporal Jackie Lee Thurman, who was killed in action while serving in the Korean War. His remains were recently identified and returned home for burial. Flags in Minnesota have been lowered to honor the memory of former Justice Esther M. Tomjanovich. Flags in Pennsylvania have been lowered to honor the memory of Fire Police Officer George Mullins, Jr. of the Shaler Township Fire Police and Shaler Villa Volunteer Fire Company. Flags in Utah have been lowered to honor the memory of firefighter pilots Chris Anderson and Miles Elliott, who died in the line of duty while battling the Widemouth 2 fire. Flags in Connecticut have been lowered to honor the memory of former Lieutenant Governor Nancy Wyman. Flags in Oregon have been lowered to honor the memory of Jason Ensign, who died while conducting firefighting operations on the Wright Spring Fire. Flags in Massachusetts have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Army Corporal Norman Ronald Levesque, who was reported missing in action while fighting in the Korean War. His remains were recently identified and returned home for burial. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. Follow Legacy.com on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.